Got the cowboy boots on, and you might need your seatbelts. And please fly the plane to the end of the journey if you're going to comment. And excuse me if I talk a bit slowly because I'm going to be thinking over a lot of things as I go. But this is just some discussion points I want to bring up with you. All it is conversation starters from my point of view, what I think about. And the reason why I'm comfortable talking about these things is because, look, we know that the murders, alleged murders, the deaths of Joseph Ryan and Charles Vallow are being investigated, by feds who investigate doomsday cults till the cows come home. There's nearly 20 open investigations into doomsday cults in the USA at the moment, being run by the FBI. So, I'm sure if they're looking into the deaths of Joseph Ryan and Charles Vallow, this is nothing new. Also, what I'm saying, none of it reflects on any particular organisation as such or person in any particular role in that organisation. This is all going to be my viewpoint based on my life experience. That's all that people can do. It's based on the way that I think about things, and it's just things that I mull over in relation to the heinous crimes of what most of us will consider to be a cult. All countries have mental health acts. So in America, I just want to make sure I say the right year. In America, the National Mental Health Act, 1946, it is rolled out, I guess, by the National Institute of Mental Health. You can get funds, you can get grants, many different organisations. They're called NGOs, but they're sort of government funded non-government organisations. They could be not-for-profit organisations. They could be organisations set up by private individuals. They could be set up by church groups and religious orders. And let's think for a minute about Mr. Charles Vallow, a good man who was the victim of a fatal shooting. The shooting occurred when he visited his then wife, Laurie Vallow, at the home that he was renting for her. And we're told the shooter is Alex Cox and that it is in self-defence. So let's just think about what was leading up to this. Many months prior, Charles and the divorce lawyer for him, I think his name's Taylor. It's hard to remember everything. I thought Lawson straight away, but I thought, wow, for a lawyer, it's Lawson. But yeah, Taylor Lawson. He will confirm all the salient details. But look, Charles Vallow was trying to protect JJ in particular. Out of the children, he was very concerned for JJ, and we know that Charles's Vallow love for JJ was very deep and real. And he was trying to save himself because there had been direct threats against his life by Laurie Vallow, who was saying that she would destroy him, kill him, that her avenging angel was going to take care of it, take care of his body, he'd be never seen again, etc. Okay, and he was scared for his life. And adding weight to the reasons why he's scared for his life is the fact that Joseph Ryan, one of Laurie Vallow's ex-husbands, had died under circumstances where she had been threatening his life. So it eventuates that Charles Vallow eventually gets Laurie to be connected with police officers of Gilbert County who interview her, and they are obliged to send her for a psychiatric evaluation. And probably like any police department in the world, they need good resources, they need good referral services, they need people and organisations that they can go to for these services, because the police don't have their own psychiatrists. They should, but they don't all have a psychiatrist there in each police station who makes these assessments, who has access to records, legal records, histories. Say, for example, in the case of Charles Vallow getting Laurie assessed, having access to records maybe about Joseph Ryan and those threats, and when she was going through a whole lot of stuff then. Okay, so where do they go? Because you do need a very particular skill set to do this role properly, to assess someone in this situation properly, and to be able to get them institutionalised. And that would be a psychiatrist, and a psychiatrist has specific medical training on top of the psychology qualifications. So it doesn't matter, whether you've got someone with a master's in psychology, etc. In my very humble amateur opinion, you need a psychiatrist, you need a clinical psychiatrist with that extra training, and that's who should be making these assessments, particularly when there's death threats, particularly when there's been death threats in the past with people turning up dead, particularly when you have someone that has had magical thinking for a very long time, someone who absorbs from others. For example, Laurie believing in her near-death experiences. I highly doubt that she had them, but she starts listening to all these podcasts while she's in Hawaii, living there with Charles, and starts feeling like that's part of her history. So where are the Gilbert Police going to refer Laurie? Well, as part of the National Mental Health Act and the National Institute of Mental Health, I guess, there's organisations that are set up that can receive funding for providing treatment. And where did Laurie go? Well, what does this sound like to you? Let me just check that I get it right. Because I just want to read 3 words to you. You're going to have to be patient with me. She's sent somewhere for assessment, and she's sent to a place